With Valentine's Day quickly approaching, I decided there was no time better than the present to get up and start sewing my Valentine's Day garments. It's Sunday, February 11th, and I am up making breakfast as usual. Now, going back to the thing that brought me to making garments in the first place, I decided to go ahead and go out on a limb and make my first piece of lingerie. You heard me. My first piece of lingerie. And I am using this beautiful strawberry fabric. It's a rib knit that I purchased from Hobby Lobby. I think I have like 3 yards of this total. And I wanted to go ahead and make my lingerie out of this because this is the first time I'm doing it. So I didn't want to become frustrated with something like lace and then end up not wanting to do lingerie at all. So I think this was the best use of this fabric. Now, your first impression of this garment may be that it's a swimsuit, and that's because of the fabric that I chose, and that's okay. Now, the pattern that I used to make this, I will reveal in a later video, but you can use this pattern to translate it over into a swimsuit if that's what you choose to do. So here I'm starting with the straps on the dress, which are forever long. Once I finished sewing the ties together, I took a safety pin and pinned it to one end of the tie and turned it inside out. This fabric is gorgeous and the bodice is really starting to take shape. So I didn't record the whole process for making this piece. So we're going to switch gears now and jump over to making my dress. Now, I'm not going to reveal this pattern either. It will come in a later video, so be patient. But let's just say I love this dress. So this is my fear. I'm holding this up as I sew. I'm looking at the garment come together, and this is looking pretty big. I cut out a size 16 according to the finished garment measurements on this pattern. And I think that's the one thing that is starting to frustrate me about the sizing and the measurements that I am seeing on the back of these patterns, because they say one thing, but they are turning out so like huge. So I think I'm just going to have to make an executive decision and decide to just make the size 12, no matter what. This is pretty big. So I've done this. I've sewn the shoulder seams. I'm finishing the second side seam. Then I'm going to try it on and go from there. Also, it's currently 11 p.m. on Sunday night. I do have to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning. So, I mean, the dress is not hard. It's coming together pretty quickly, but this fit thing, I really did not expect to run into this problem with this pattern because of the finished measurements on the back of the envelope. So this is really throwing me for a loop and kind of throwing a monkey wrench in my plans. I'm annoyed, but we're gonna see. And did I mention the armhole as well is looking pretty big? So before I continued to construct this dress, I decided to go ahead and do a fit check, and it's fitting a little looser than what I expected, especially from looking at the picture on the front of the envelope. So what I'm going to do, instead of opening up the side seams and taking those in, I'm going to go down the back seam another inch. Since I know that this armhole is a bit large as well, and my sleeve is probably going to fit loose, I am going to go ahead and sew my sleeve seam at 1.25 inches. We've been taught to press our seams open, and there is nothing wrong with that. But as you grow, you learn that there's more than one way to skin a cat. So what I now do is I press my seams to one side, and when I'm sewing different parts together, I alternate the direction they're going. So this one is laying one way and the other seam is laying the other way. I do this to reduce bulk as well as give it a cleaner look. To add the finishing touches, I'm throwing the hem on the sleeves and on the bottom of the dress, and then we're going to throw it on for our final fitting. So this looks a lot better. I'm happy with the adjustments that I made to the dress, the adjustments that I made to the sleeves. The length is perfect. Just need the right accessories and shoes, and we are good to go.